In 8th grade, I got lucky enough to have a teacher named Mr. T. Everybody wanted to be in one of his classes, but I never understood why until I was put in one. I loved his class so much because he would make Musical.ly videos. With us, this story takes place when Musical.ly still existed, of course. One day my friend Mike and I were standing by his desk getting some extra help for the class, and we saw his computer password when he typed it in, and he didn't notice that his password was visible. That day after school, Mike came over to my house. We popped open a bag of chips, and we tried using his school computer password to log into his Musical.ly. The shock on both of our faces, when the password actually worked, was insane. We went through all of his drafts, and saw some pretty scarring things like the Grind on Me challenge. No student should have to see that challenge done by their teacher. But getting into his account was so fun, and Mike and I still go on it sometimes. My freshman year of high school, an anonymous Twitter account was made where students submitted confessions and gossip. Some awful nasty shit was said for months, and then one day the account posted that they would reveal who they were the next day. And to meet them in the common area that day, there was a huge crowd of people standing around there waiting to find out who it was. Then suddenly the account started posting screenshots of messages showing who said what about who, and people started seeing them. Long story short, multiple fights broke out, some people got dumped, and people were yelling at each other right there in the crowd. It was chaos. That account ruined dozens of friendships and reputations, and they never got caught.
Okay, so I'm a boy and I'm bi and I was dating this girl, but I had the biggest crush on this boy that was the teacher's son, and I tried to make my girlfriend break up with me by showing her hot girls, but it didn't work. I was really good in the PE class, which is my crush's dad's class, and I low-key liked his dad too, but I liked him more. So I got close to the teacher and always helped him out so my crush will pay attention to me. Eventually we became friends, but I was still dating my ex-girlfriend, but I didn't care, and we would low-key flirt all the time and touch each other's hands. And one day we met up in the bathroom coincidentally, and we went outside to the little garden the school has, and we were reading a book together, and then it led to us making out. The gym teacher saw us and kinda freaked out, but he was cool with it later on when he had a talk with his son. I broke up with my girlfriend and would hang out at my crush's now boyfriend, I think, house a lot, and I still have feelings for his dad. Yeah, Red Heart. When I was 4, my uncle died and my mom was talking to my aunt and crying, but I was throwing a fit because she never took my Pop-Tarts out of the toaster, and they were the limited edition winter ones, so you know I was excited for those bitches. And she told me my uncle died, and I said, okay, where's my Pop-Tart? She threw away the box, fucking bitch. When I was 16, I started dating my best friend of 2 years. Then, 2 weeks after we started dating, we decided we wanted to do the do. He was in the middle of moving from an apartment to a house, so we snuck into his new house while his parents were at their apartment. The only thing he had in his room was his comforter and some decorative pillows and a couple of Funko Pop figures. We made out for at least an hour and we decided it was time to do it. The only problem was I was on my last day of my period, so I still had a tampon in. I told him that I was going to go take it out, and he said no, it's okay, I got it, and pulled the tampon out of me. Then he said he was going to go get protection, but came back in his room quickly because his dad came to the house to start playing his guitars in the room next to us. Then, his dad walked into his room and made eye contact with me while I had no pants on and was covered by the blanket. Then his dad left us alone to go to Walmart because he didn't want to be in the house with us while it happened. Now we are getting married, Sparkles.
One time when I was 5 or 6, a teacher found a pair of shitty underwear in the bathroom, and all the teachers had to line up their students to find out which kid needed to be sent home. My teacher literally went round the class putting her hand into our pants to make sure we had underwear on. I'm still pretty traumatized from feeling her crusty, dusty old woman hand in between my ass cheeks. Anyway, it got to the last kid in my class, and my teacher put her hand in his ass, and when she pulled her arm out, it was covered in shit. The kid was crying, so was the teacher. One student threw up, and I caused a chain reaction, and everyone was throwing. It was so gross. The vomit smell was there for weeks.
I just turned 9. I went to my cousin's birthday party and my 12-year-old cousin was there, and he kept trying to get me alone with him, and he said he was going to do and say something, and when he did it I'd be shocked. I was curious to know what was going to happen, so I tried to be alone with him because he said he would only do it when we're alone, but his younger brother kept following us and he was getting very angry. He took me to a corner in the garage and we were finally alone, and he said that he couldn't go to sleep the night before because he was up thinking about me. I was just standing there smiling because I didn't know what to say, and then he cornered me into a wall and said he was now going to do something. I was curious. because I was only 9 and didn't understand anything, but before he did it my mom came to the garage and told me we were leaving. I was upset because he never got to show me what he wanted to, but now I am so grateful that my mom came, and now I am always scared to see him. Here's my confession. One time in 6th grade I was single as fuck, so I went on Tinder and matched with this guy, and I asked him if we could meet up then smash, and he agreed, so I gave him my address and he snuck in at around 1 in the morning. He was 16 at the time and I was only 12, but I didn't care and neither did he, so we started making out and he slowly took off his clothes and mine and he put his ding dong in me, but it was really small and I'm not even sure if I lost my V card to him cause it was so small. But 3 years later I found out he was a sex offender. On the first day of 6th grade I had a crush and he liked me back. He's been my boyfriend for 2 months. We met up at the park and he decided to kiss me. I kissed him back. The next day I asked my mom if my friend could come over. That was actually my boyfriend. She didn't know about him. Once he got to my house my mom said he was my cousin. I've been kissing my cousin. I had a boyfriend back in junior year, but I was close with his friends before I dated him. When we were dating I had his friend in one of my classes and he was so sweet and funny, but never went further because he respected our relationship. Then my boyfriend and I broke up and I was so upset. I told him about it and he said he was here for me. Over the past few months the more I talked with him the more I realized I liked him, but I wasn't sure if he would like me back. One day I opened up to him about my depression and anxiety and he was so kind and understanding about it, unlike how my ex was. He works at a boba shop and he asked if I wanted boba. I said yes jokingly, but surprisingly he asks for my address and shows up around 11:30 at night since he closes. I had to sneak out to the front, but it was worth it. The moment I saw him with my boba and when he said I'm always here for you and you can talk to me about anything, I knew I made the wrong choice in dating my ex when he was there all along. I am still currently falling for him and he doesn't know how I feel, but I know for a fact I don't want to lose him.
One time at lunch my best friend wanted to make out with a boy in the bathroom and asked me to take the second girl's pass so that nobody could come to the bathrooms, and the boy's friend did the same. Then we all went to the bathroom and my friend went into the boys' bathroom, so I left her there and she said she would be back in 10 minutes. After 10 minutes I went back to the bathroom and she was still in there, so I thought she was going to get raped, so I burst in and saw my friend crying. I grabbed her arm and tried to drag her out, but then a teacher came in and detained us all as if it was a motherfucking crime scene. They told us to give them our phones and I got to go to the office and the teacher questioned me like it was a Q&A, like bitch fuck off. Then she let me go and back to class and I started having a panic attack.
This one time when I was little I thought I could talk to trees. Because I had no friends. And I used to sit by them and say things, and one day I was talking to my tree friend called Kevin and this girl went up to me and said, "Are you talking to that tree, freak?" And I started crying and hugged onto the tree. And why one of the branches fell on the girl's head. Thanks Kevin.
When I was in 7th grade, I met this girl in my bus and her name was Lexi. Well, me and Lexi got really close. My middle school was divided into 3 different schools, so me and Lexi went to the same school but a different section of our school, and we also took the same bus. Anyways, one day when I was walking to class through one of the schools I saw this cute-ass guy and I asked her about him cause she went to school with him, and she told me that it was one of her friends. And that if I wanted her to mention me to him. Well, of course I want you to mention me to him, bitch, I think he's cute. Well, he sent me a little note telling me I was cute or whatever, and then we kept sending notes to each other. But one day as I was walking through one of the schools to get to my class, I saw him with a group of friends and they all started laughing at me. I got really embarrassed and didn't know what was happening, so I went to see Lexi to ask her why he was laughing at me.